So, so you read the Four Agreements. What are the Four Agreements, actually?
Wow, man, what a book! It truly changed my life, man. It's just, I remember it was around 10 years ago when someone proposed me to read that book, and it changed my perspective in many many ways. It talks about a tribe that lives in a kind of a hidden place in the world, and it's like it's a bunch of philosophers. They observe society, and they wrote the Four Agreements that would take humanity to a place of fulfillment of happiness. And they realized that the the worst problem that we have in society is that we're comparing ourselves to other people constantly. And I was talking about do not give a fuck about what other people think about you, because that's actually limiting your vision and even your purpose, your dreams. By thinking that your actions are being judged, you are conditioning your brain from putting all the time, passion, and effort in that action, because we're not acting from a true place of connection and inner peace. And so in the end, it's more or less related to what we wanted to talk about expectations. And for me, expectations were a big part of my problem when it comes to relationships or work or different stuff in my life. And I don't know if you had some kind of similar experience, but I think expectations is something that it's putting things or making things difficult for a lot of people. I have a feeling.
I feel like any time in my life that I've had an argument with somebody was because they didn't fulfill my expectations with them, or vice versa. Yesterday I was walking home. I sat at the plaza yesterday, just people watching. I like doing that sometimes. And on my way home, it was very intense, actually. I think it got a bit too intense for me because there was multiple couples arguing. I don't know if it was the moon or the day or what was going on, but there was a couple of couples arguing, and it was actually right around the corner from here, right in front of the store. And I heard one guy say, I'm acting the way you want me to in front of your friends. And I have noise canceling headphones on, but I was curious. I was like, what are they, is she okay? Because the guy was very mad. So I was like, do they know each other? So I just took it out for just a second to see. And then I heard, he's like, I'm being the way you want in front of your friends. And I just popped it back in so I couldn't hear the rest. And I just kept walking. And as I was crossing the street, he actually surpassed me because he just strunted away. And I think that most of the problems in relationships is because of expectation, whether they're negative expectations or positive expectations. Yeah. Because how many times, and how many times have we been in arguments with people around us where it starts, you never do this for me, or you're not there for me, and this and that. And how many times do we also have this, I expected you to do this thing that I like, and I think when you're in relationships, yes, you do have to give and take, and there needs to be a good balance. But sometimes we are not conscious about how much we're taking and how much we're giving. I feel like most people I talk to that are in rocky relationships, they're on either side of the coin. They're either taking too much and demanding, or giving too much. And in my frame of being, it's giving too much. the other one is not there for you. To not drift too far away, I think that stems a lot with expectations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember just as easy as when I was choosing my degree in university after school. I always refer to the fact that I wanted to be a musician. I'm a musician. I consider myself a musician, but I wanted to be I wanted to study music or philosophy, and because of my I took it that way. Okay, I'm not blaming anyone because we have to accept that we are responsible for our own acts. I mean, I'm not putting it out there like blaming my parents, but I could feel the expectations of my parents wanting me to do something else.
Yeah.
And it was probably related to my father's career and the fact that he was really into that and investing a lot of time, and we come from our parents come from a place of you need to be someone in life, right? You need to be the best at what you do. That was a statement I heard a lot. If you do something, you gotta be the best. Fuck no, man. If you just love doing something, just do it. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to expect to be the best. And when it comes to expectations, is as negative to expect in terms of I expect that my girlfriend brings me a beautiful cake for my birthday, or someone else expecting on your own actions. Both things, both directions are very negative, from my opinion, because when you expect other people doing certain things, you're limiting their reality, and when someone expects you to do certain things, they're limiting your reality. And one day, especially, well, it clearly happened after my sudden death, I decided to not expect more, because expecting was just putting me in you know when people have a house and they have a room only for guests and they never have guests, and they keep that room perfectly prepared for guests and they never have guests. And it happens a lot at grandma's houses or even mom's houses, because we come from that mental limitation of always expecting that something may happen. And when we realize that that thing we expected is actually never happening, and that we're missing we could use that space for something else, something that we really love.
Right.
Imagine that we just make a music room or a room to paint or write or have a little office.
A little library.
But no, we keep that room for guests because we expect that one day we may have guests.
Right.
That's really something that makes me nervous.
It's a beautiful comparison to the mind as well. Sometimes we make space for things that never happen in our mind.
Yeah.
We make room for things that never take place, and that space can be used for other things.
Yeah.
And I think actually expectation drains us. It makes us tired.
Yeah.
Because you have so much space in your mind. It's like, this is going to happen, this is going to be like this, and at the end it's not going that way, and you've just been holding so much space for it to eventually come, but it never did.
Or for example, in your case, you skate. Remember the other day you told me that, man, I can't do this trick because I can't land with both feet.
Yeah.
And you were actually creating that reality by expecting that you couldn't land.
Right.
And before you tried it, you already told me, I can't land that way. So you tried it and you couldn't land.
Yep.
You didn't land. But 3 days later, we met just to have a talk, and you told me, man, I landed the trick.
Yep.
Because you just did it.
Yeah.
You didn't expect you were not going to do it. You just did it. And that happens also to me and to everyone with many other things. Like when you put the thought in your brain, like, I expect something negative from this situation or event, it is quite likely to happen. And we have to free our minds a bit more from conditionings. And I think expectations is one of the first, related to also to fear, it's one of the first names on my list that I want to get rid of. Fear, expectations, because everything is quite related.
It is quite related. Goes to that quote which says, the man who, the one who thinks they can or cannot are both usually right. Drifting away from expectation, but if we just allow space for both people.
Yeah.
So because I haven't been in a close relationship for a while, what would be something in your perspective to create healthy expectations? Because they will exist.
Yeah.
No matter what. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, you have a responsibility to a certain degree. So how would I create healthy expectations? Because I'm very aware of them, but I know that even to this day, I project certain things and I receive certain projections, and I don't feel like I have a very strong grip or a strong perspective on how I can actually navigate and have a healthy expectation in my relationships with friends or with people that I'm seeing.
I have a good example, I think. So, going back to my relationship, my wife, because I've worked in fashion for many years, and the last years it's been a bit difficult for me to understand certain patterns, repetitive patterns that happen in this market, like in lots of other markets. I'm not just blaming fashion. But I remember that Jaya, my wife, she was having expectations on me in terms of evolution, in terms of knowing that I could unfold a part of me that I was not allowing to be unfolded. And actually, that's what's happening today. Thanks to her positive expectations, thanks to believing in me, she gave me the space, because good expectations have to go hand by hand with patience. It's very important. If you expect something from someone, you cannot pretend that expectation will happen right away. You have to give the space and time for the person to integrate and grow with it, because otherwise it's just a mess. In the beginning, she was expecting from me certain changes, not because she wanted me to change, but she knew I could have kind of an upgrade in my happiness in my life, in terms of in my profession, in my personal life, just by helping others and putting out there what we're doing today. And that, I see it as a very good example of good expectations. If you expect something good in terms of evolution, something that resonates with the person, something, first you have to get to know the person, or at least you have to give some time. You can't expect something from the very first day, like, oh, I want this girl to become this, or I want this my man to become that. No, give some time, understand how the other person is and works.
Yeah.
And from there you will see a vision of that person in terms of evolution. That's at least my experience with it.
Yeah. You know? Maybe it goes into, first you have to understand yourself and what you need and what you desire. Because if you do that, then you won't get entangled into following someone else's expectations.
Yeah.
Because then it creates another argument. But I did what you told me to do.
Yeah.
I've been doing exactly what you told me to do, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have felt that by this point.
That's why time and space is very important.
It's so important.
Because it's like planting a seed, right? You put a seed in a person's mind. I remember the first time she she was making me face certain ideas or maybe thoughts that I was escaping from. I was like, no, 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 you know, I need to keep doing this, I need to keep doing that. And I was limiting myself. And thanks to seeing how much she believed in me with good expectations, I started believing more and more in myself. And I was like, man, you've been playing music for more than 25 years and you don't have the album you always wanted to have. You didn't write the book you always wanted to write. You didn't talk the things out the way you wanted to talk them out or shake people's world the way you sometimes do it when you meet them in person. Just break the egg, break the shell, just get out there. She put the seed. I was like a cat. I was seeing something that was hurting me because inside my brain I wanted to be that person, but I couldn't be that person yet. And one day I decided, thanks to you as well. Yeah, and I need to thank you a lot because it's crazy. Sometimes we think that wisdom is a matter of age, and wisdom has nothing to do with age, man. I think all of a sudden a 23-year-old guy comes and says, man, I fucking believe in you, you know, since the very first moment I saw you, and you inspired me the same way you inspired me. And just what you did was a good expectation as well.
Yeah.
I see it as a good expectation. You just came to me and you're like, man, I see this and this and this and this in you that really brings something. And wow, that was powerful, bro. And yeah, we should do that more, I think, in our society.
Yeah. Believe in each other, huh?
Exactly, bro. That's what we're doing. And it changed my life, it changed my world, and changing our worlds.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
To end off on this topic, the cool thing is that when we are, because we're experiencing that right now, when we're flowing, and because we don't have expectations of each other.
No, we don't.
We believe in each other and we nurture that. Actually, it's very cool to reflect on real quick because we're moving together and we believe in each other.
Yeah.
We believe that we do what we need to do individually. And we both share that we have this vision. So we're just allowing for that.
We're just flowing with it.
We're just grooving with it.